People thought it was the ultimate humiliation for Harry and Meghan. Seemingly it was the biggest sort of kickback that they'd seen in their quest, shall we say, for independence, finding freedom, their self, if you recall. They decided, didn't they, that, well, they didn't really like being inside the royal enclosure. They didn't like living at Kensington Palace. Frogmore Cottage was too small. Something in Africa was a bit of a hovel. You get the picture. Now, the bottom line is then this bombshell dropped, didn't it? Frogmore, they had to leave under His Majesty the King's extreme orders. Very delicately put, of course, very nicely put, but it must have been incredibly hard. According to a very good source, Harry and Meghan did not see this coming. It was the ultimate bombshell, even though it was delivered on the day of the publication of Prince Harry's tell-all book Spare. But now as ever, there's something of a development. Let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Fine and dandy today. Yes, good morning. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. Absolutely lovely to have your company, and thank you as ever for getting involved in all of the recent videos. In fact, it was fascinating to read your comments about Meghan's move back into the world of vlogging, blogging, whatever these things are called. Yes, people do use other people's money to set these things up. I saw a very esteemed stylist and makeup artists do this incredibly well, and now it's a very successful business. But it's a risk, isn't it? And whatever people say about Meghan and Harry, a lot of their projects have yet to really take off. Whatever you think of the Spotify podcast, it wasn't an international success, was it not? Now, though, there's a bigger problem for Harry and Meghan because Frogmore Cottage was meant to be their home, wasn't it? 2.5 million plus was spent on renovating the home because apparently it wasn't fit for purpose for those two. You see, the bigger problem was this. Meghan, according to a very good source, saw herself actually in the castle. The Queen put down her very strong tiara on that line and thought, well, no, why should you? Nobody would live in the Windsor Castle itself other than the reigning monarch. That's the way it's been for centuries. But Meghan truly, allegedly didn't understand that. After all, she didn't know anything about the monarchy. She'd never looked them up or Googled them, right? But now, according to a very good source out at Windsor Castle, there are new problems for His Majesty the King. As you know, he graciously said that Meghan and Harry could have an extension to gather their things if they were coming over to stay in Frogmore Cottage for, of course, the coronation. They're still undecided. But now, according to a very good, reliable source, Harry and Meghan are asking for an extension because they have a lot of memories to clear from that particular abode. Like what? Apparently it was terrifying. Meghan didn't leave the place for 4 months and couldn't find a therapist. How happy could it have been in such a small, tiny cottage? But according to that source, Harry and Meghan really would like more time, perhaps looking towards August, where they could finally organise the removal of their personal artefacts and objects. Now, this is going to play out very cleverly, and as I've often said here on the show, if there's one thing that Harry and Meghan's team, not necessarily them, know what to do, is to make sure that negative publicity piles up. Now, a lot of people might say, just get a removal van, empty the place and send the stuff over to Montecito direct. That would save them coming back, and of course the humiliation of looking at the home that they allegedly once cared for so much. Either way, though, this is, as I say, a developing story, and it's not going to play out possibly the way that King Charles initially felt or thought when he issued the removal order way back at the start of this year. It's a developing story, and when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of the United Kingdom.